This is John for Global Women's Sports Radio. I'm on the beat today with Charlie Kruel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to meet you. I followed you online. I've followed your career for a while, so it's good to finally meet you, even though it's only virtual. But still,
It counts.
so it does. Well, we're logging it in. So I want to ask you about girl fight. You're fighting small and mean Salena Dean.
hmm
Any thoughts on the match?
I've wrestled Salena before. I love Salena. She's a very good competitor. I'm excited for the competition, the match, and all of that. Um, but there's been obviously a huge gap between the last time I wrestled her and this time because, like, literally before I wrestled her, it was right before Corona happened, and then now I'm wrestling her like right after. Well, Corona's still happening, but you know what I mean. Like I wrestled
Right.
her like right before Corona happened, and now I'm wrestling her again. But I'm very excited for the match and all of Girl Fight. I think every girl will kill it.
No, I've seen your career. You fought men. You fought in three ways. You fight, hardcore. What? And you're a young lady. What makes a young woman like yourself want to go in there and just start, kicking heads in?
You really? Sorry, I'm
That's right.
thinking what my cat's doing. You really need to like I remember just recently, like literally by Sunday, I had my first ever death match against Aiden Blackheart, and that's how I got this fat lip right here. And literally, like I don't know how to explain it. Just you need that passion, that fire, and determination, just to know that you can go in there and you kick any guy, any woman's ass. If you go in there half-assing it, or if you go in there not confident enough that you're going to be able to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. I was obviously went in there not knowing what the hell was going to happen, but right when I saw him come out of the curtain, I was like, okay, it's game time, game on. Whatever match he wants to throw at me, I'll do, and that's the match he wanted, and that's the match I, threw myself into. Ended
So
up
you.
getting the
Oh,
win.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, go ahead. You got the
Oh, I was
win.
just gonna say I just ended up getting the win, and that was a huge upset, a huge shocker to everybody because I'm just a 5'3" girl and he's like so much bigger. But I would say it wasn't even like I got lucky. I would say I outsmarted him. I saw my opportunity and I took that opportunity. It's just about, taking opportunity and making the best of it.
Well, I watched the match. It was an excellent match, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You took it to him, and you brought up you're not huge. You're relatively small. Um, you fight women, so and you're fighting men, and size has to be a big disadvantage for you. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
overcome that? How do you attack people knowing that you're so the difference in weight is in size?
I always go for the legs. If they're taller and bigger than me, cutting their legs down and getting them to, my size or smaller or whatever, it helps with my advantage a lot. My quickness, me outsmarting people, a lot of things is just I'm not gonna get them at strength or being bigger than them or anything. I have to get them at my speed and outsmarting them and so on and so forth, and kick their legs out, do whatever I can, hit them with everything I got just to get them down if I have to. I mean,
Makes sense.
mm.
So you've only been wrestling about 3 years now, right?
I'm
Approximately.
wrestling 2, but I've been training for 3.
Okay, okay. So I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, you have not won a title yet.
I have won one title, and that was the Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Women's Championship at
Okay.
my home fed, where I trained at. That's the only title I've ever won was the Grindhouse Women's title.
So how cool is it when you did win your first title?
It felt amazing. I mean, it wasn't the match or how I really wanted it to be, but it was still a good feeling to know that the company, give me a second.
Sure.
Stop. Sorry, I'm yelling at my cats.
It's quite all right. Keep them in line.
Yeah, I have to. I'm a mother of I'm a mother of 6 guinea pigs, a dog, and 2 cats.
Well, it's quite a little zoo you got going.
I do love animals. But where was I? I was talking about
Your first title.
yes. It wasn't really the match or the way I really wanted it to be. It was but it still meant something to me that the company trusted me and wanted to make me their champion. It means something. And a lot of people, I've seen a lot of women, come in and immediately win a title. And I feel like the wait for me is just going to be worth it. I'd rather win a bigger title than, anything else. I just feel like the wait will be worth it. And so far, the only title I've ever won was the Grindhouse Women's title. And I've held that title. I fought for that title, So there will be
Well,
more down the road.
I would say you're still young. You got plenty of time to win titles. Is the WWE your ultimate goal?
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's been my goal. I mean, now getting into wrestling and seeing an outside world other than WWE, like I kind of grew up watching. Obviously, you have like AEW, Ring of Honor, you have WoW, Women of Wonder, you have all these like bigger promotions that you can just sign for. But like WWE and NXT and all that has been my main goal since I was a kid, and I've never given up on it. Like my boyfriend, his main goal, his dream is Japan, and I would like to go to Japan one day, of course, absolutely. But my main goal overall is to get to the WWE one day and make my name there. NXT, WWE, no matter how hard I have to fight for it, it's been my goal since I was a child. So something I just can't give up. But if I end up getting AEW or TNA or Impact Wrestling, I'm sorry, I don't think they call it TNA anymore. But sorry, my cats are like, I have a kitten. He likes messing with the adult cat, and the adult cats get mad at him and beat him up.
Of course.
And I have to stop that. But no, WWE, it would be cool to go to AEW and Impact and like all of that. But like my main goal has always been WWE and NXT. It's been there, I would like to get to those promotions, but WWE is the, kind of like the final chapter in my life.
Sure.
To like make all my names there.
Well, and I read that AJ Lee and Jeff Hardy would be your inspirations or your role models or your wrestling heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Those two, and also Jon Moxley. So AJ Lee, I'll start with her because she's the biggest influence for me. The reason why I am a wrestler today is because of AJ Lee. So everything I do, a lot of it is because of her. AJ has been, because I started watching her when I was younger, and at first, like, I was into wrestling, yeah, but I didn't want to immediately go for it, as fast as I, wanted to. What I'm trying to say is that, like, when she won the title, the Divas title at Payback in 2013 against Caitlyn, that was the moment that I was like, yes, I want to do this. I want to be there one day. I want to do that. I want that. At the time, it was that title, but now it's the, women's title, whatever.
Right.
Like, I want that title. And, and she's always been like my biggest role model since I was a kid. Wrestling has always been, AJ when I was younger. So growing up, AJ is my biggest influence. And I still say if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a wrestler. I wouldn't be in the business or care as much as I do for it right now because of her. Another one, of course, Jeff Hardy. I mean, seeing the crap that he's done, watching his matches have been my favorite, ever to watch. Like, I study the crap out of him because he's, I'm not much of a high flyer like he is, but,
Sure.
Seeing his kind of stuff and seeing his makeup and seeing how much, he gets into the crowd and the crowd's just there and he has them, And Jon Moxley, originally, I started following him as Dean Ambrose. But like as time went on, I started getting to Jon Moxley. His crazy attitude and his promo skills and everything is a lot of times it's really like AJ Lee and Dean Ambrose has like some of the best promos I've ever seen in wrestling so far. Like they're crazy insane. But yes, those three have been my biggest influences in wrestling, period.
Well, I mean, part of your character when you're wrestling, you're a bit insane too. You do a lot of screaming, you do a lot of vocalizing, you do a lot of interaction. I think you're in that same mold. I think you're, following in that path, and the fans are responding to you.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to do. I want to be as much as I am in this, business. I want to be very vocal. I want, like I was having my death match. I went over to a bunch of kids that were screaming and chanting for me and stuff. And this little girl bought my picture beforehand. She held it up and she's like, don't give up, Charlie, don't give up. And I think that's like, that clicked me, I'm never going to give up. It's just little things like that that just turns my tables completely.
So, I mean, how cool is that? You're sort of like you're to her like AJ Lee was to you. So how cool is that?
Honestly, that's something I've always wanted, not just to be in wrestling as I am in wrestling. I want to be an inspiration. I want to be a role model. And, that little girl probably looks up to me in the way I did to AJ when I was younger. So that makes me feel even more better, even more stronger, that I just cannot give up, because if I give up, I'm giving up on them, and I would never want to give up on them. And they're what keep me strong. Charlie Kruel is this psycho ditzy little maniac that like people can just get behind. Like she's funny in every way, shape, and form. She's funny, and then like she can be very serious. Like obviously, like you've probably seen me want to play patty cake.
I saw
at
it.
the beginning of the
Yes.
match. And if you mess my patty cake up, then I'm gonna get mad and I take all my anger out on you. Or I'm the kind of person that wants to play patty cake, and then if somebody like Aiden Blackheart come out and challenges me, I'm gonna take it serious. I'm gonna turn it up to completely 100. So that ditzy little, cute, funny little maniac is now the serious, evil, vindictive. Somebody that will like bleed for this business and bleed for herself and for her fans. So that's who really Charlie Kruel is to me. She's somebody that I honestly have been creating her since I was a kid myself. When I started like wanting to put character stuff together, I was very huge on character stuff because when I was younger as well, I also wanted to act, and I wanted to be in plays and musicals, and I wanted to be in movies and TV shows and Broadway. Like I wanted to do that as well. So I love the whole acting part of it. And to actually be a different character and be somebody that you're just not used to,
Mm-hmm.
like obviously on the outside world, I'm somebody completely different, but Charlie Kruel is that person that like, I wish I could be all the time. She's that confident version of me. Yeah, but she's somebody I kind of been creating since I was younger because I've always put things together and I just build it up, build it up more, and I'm still building her up. So like 2019, she was more of the serial killer type of maniac, and now 2020, she's a purple-haired maniac who's ditzy, and you either love her or you hate her. There's really no in between.
I enjoy the character.
I
So,
appreciate that.
no, I seriously I do. I'll get to that in 1 minute. I do want to ask you one more question though about Escape from VHS Hell. That's a book about you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the book was written by John Cosper, a good friend of mine, and it's really about me and Masuku, and it's about how it's pretty much about me against like all of the horror movie legends, like without actually naming them for copyright reasons, but like Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Freddy Krueger, all of those guys are in this book, obviously under names, but you know who they're talking about because they explain them. But Charlie is the good guy, I would say. She's kind of actually in the book, I would say she's kind of more like Deadpool, kind of just like doesn't have she's not a good guy or a bad guy, she's just her. That's kind of how you like would explain. I'm not a bad guy, I'm just me. And but sometimes in every single match she's different, and in the book, she's taking on these villains in the horror movie, in the horror, the horror legends with Masuku, because Masuku, helped create Charlie Kruel, and she helped, Masuku helped create who this person is of me, and more like the better version of me. So if you don't know Masuku is my mask. He's my best friend. I don't know why I'm saying he. It doesn't really have a gender. But I just say it, he, she. I change it all the time, but it does not have a gender. I don't even know what Masuku is, honestly. But it's definitely my best friend and somebody that like I need to have ringside for me, or, I mean, then you wouldn't have Charlie Kruel,
No, I love it. I honestly, I followed your career for a while, not right from the beginning, but for a while. And when I'm doing the coverage for, I was talking to Pondo about it, and Madman Pondo, obviously. And I was excited that you were wrestling this because now I get the chance to interview. I probably wouldn't have had a chance to interview like this if it wasn't for Girl Fight. So I'm excited because I followed your career, and I think you've got a great look. I think you've got a great, I hate to use the word gimmick, but I'll use it. You got a great gimmick, but I mean, I think it's in the vein of like a Roddy Piper or those type people. I think it seems very true to yourself, which makes it even a better character. And I think you've got great wrestling skills, and I think you're going to end up in the WWE in not too far future. And I'm not just saying that because I already had the interview, so I don't need to butter you up. But
Yeah.
I truly think that you're very talented, and I certainly wish you well in that. Before I end this, could you tell people why they should check out Girl Fight?
Girl Fight is so incredible, and it's different than a lot of other women promotions that you do see. I'm not saying other women promotions are not as good as Girl Fight. A lot of them are really good, but Girl Fight's really good as well. And it's just a promotion you would just want to check out. All these women are upcoming women. I mean, like the main event is Mickey Knuckles versus Sue Young. I mean, Mickey's just now out of retirement. Sue Young's from Impact, hasn't been on Girl Fight in a long time. So for about over a year now, she hasn't been on Girl Fight at all. So this is huge to have both of them in the main event, of Girl Fight. And what's funny right now is that before you called, of course, the poster in the Girl Fight show is called Jawbreaker, and I'm actually watching the Jawbreaker movie right now on Shutter, the app. I love horror
Weird
movies.
symmetry.
Yes, I kind of just scrolled past and was like, I think I know where I got this from. But no, like Girl Fight is, I mean, it's always just so unique. Like the flyers are always so unique. They always have like newer girls that you've never really seen before, that you go there and you see them, you're like, oh, I want to follow them. Like honestly, Girl Fight helped me develop my wrestling skill more and more, and develop really who I was, and helped me get out there because the Girl Fight fans saw me and started following my career on and on and on, and that just grew more and more. So I have to thank Pondo and Girl Fight for that. But it's a unique promotion for girls. It's a way for girls to get out there. All the girls kick ass, in my opinion. They're all out there. They love this business. They have so much passion, and just going there, you feel that passion with them. So it's an incredible show, and I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Well, I've seen Mickey. I've interviewed Mickey. I've seen Mickey wrestle. She is certifiably insane in the best of possible ways. She's as tough as they can come, but she's also extremely sweet. I would love to see the two of you battle at some point, and hopefully it's a future Girl Fight. That would be great for me, at least. I would see it.
Yeah, I think Pondo would definitely consider that. I definitely see a trainee versus the trainer kind of match, because I do get trained a little bit by Mickey, at the moment we're trying to find a new building and new ring, but I have been getting trained by her, especially during Corona. She's been helping me tremendously on character developmental and working on moves and all this other kind of stuff. And so it would definitely be a trainee versus trainer kind of thing. I only had one match with her, and that was like a triple threat. That was originally supposed to be one-on-one, and it turned into a triple threat because some girls called off, so they had to mix and match all this. But I never got my one-on-one match, and I'm glad that she's out of retirement because now I may finally get one. So let's hope for the best.
Hey, I'm cheering for it. So before I let you go, could you tell anybody where they could find you online, promote anything you want?
Everything is under at Charlie Kruel. That's his CharlieKruel. Everything is just Charlie Kruel. Charlie Kruel Wrestling is on YouTube. Everything you find is just at Charlie Kruel.
That's where I found you. That's where everyone else could find you. I'm not sure if they could find your animals there, but
Oh, you could. All the time. I post them sometimes on Instagram, Twitter. This is Coda. Say hi, Coda. He's a brat.
He's a cutie, though. Well, Charlie, it's really been a pleasure. I really, I sincerely, I have been a fan of yours for a while. I'm really impressed with your work, and I look forward to seeing more of it. And I do look forward to seeing you in the WWE. So when you get there, you got to promise me an interview at some point when you get there.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie, and good luck at Girl Fight.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.